Every fucking time I pass by the kitchen I can't resist but stick my dick in the Nesquik cereal box. It doesn't matter if the cereal hurts my tip, I thrust it in as fast as I can.
48 minutes of dogs barking, 48 minutes of dogs barking, 48 minutes of dogs barking, 48 minutes of dogs barking. Growl! Growl! 48 minutes of dogs barking, 48 minutes of dogs barking.
I think me and you are both in probably a mood today, aren't we?
I don't want to dox my son, so
Right. No, I mean we'll dance around it. I'm not going to be like this is what he did today at this point.
Yeah,
we'll make allusions to it. Yeah. He's not here to consent.
he's in some shit though.
he is. What was it like knowing that your son was born with a negative post count?
Oh, Jesus Christ. My son at school.
Like, is your son, like, I have to assume, has put Goatsy on iPhone before as like the lock screen?
No, actually, he's blissfully unaware of a lot of the shock sites. His brand of shit posting is way more Gen Alpha, very new age. He's not sending somebody big bag or whatever. Yeah,
Big bag. Big bag. Yeah, it's just like the things you tell me your son gets. It's I hate to say it, it's hard not to laugh.
It really, well, it's hard for me not to laugh either.
because I know if I had said that in the high school,
yeah,
it would have been.
And he's 8th grade.
It's got to be so frustrating to know that your son has such a raw, untapped poster spirit, but does not know how to harness it yet. It's like an unfocused like spectrum of light.
Yeah, I think all 13, 14-year-olds have the seed if you can nurture it correctly.
Like Elon Musk would give so much in this world to have an ounce of your son's poster spirit.
The one thing I will say about my son is he is on the spectrum, so he doesn't know that that's not an appropriate joke to make. And I think that's really where the misunderstanding is. Because he was like, I don't know what I said. What do you mean you don't know what you said?
Some of the stuff you told me and you showed me that your son has gotten in trouble for is like, yeah, like, I can see this.
the yearbook ad where it was the kid smoking.
Ad.
Yeah.
What was the yearbook ad?
The yearbook ad was, so he had this picture that he found online of some like underage kids blasting a cig, and it said, buy a yearbook, everyone else is doing it.
Fucking rules. So
I, your thing
you
is
gotta discipline your dad, or not discipline your dad.
It's gonna be very difficult. Need an exhumation order for that one, but
you gotta discipline your son.
Yeah, but also try not to
posting.
laugh at the same time. Yeah, and just be like, that's not really what we don't say
that's
that.
Not funny.
Yeah, and I'm trying to be like,
I feel bad because like I remember being a little bit like that at his age.
I think all 13-year-old boys are like that to a degree.
I think he's playing to a more enlightened room.
Yeah, and I think that's a problem.
I feel like I was making a lot of jokes in high school that like would piss off my fellow students, but like the teacher would be like, that's pretty good. You know? Like,
that's true.
I feel like I had like a lot of like my parents' friends hearing about what I got in trouble for and being like, that's actually pretty cool.
Right. So
like,
the cycle continues.
Like,
yeah. We're doing
like we're doing right here.
Yeah. So what's up with you? What's
I'm
happening?
Fucking just hating my job and kind of hating life because of it.
Jeez.
Yeah, today kind of had like a moment where I'm like, are they trying to get me to walk out? And I feel like I've discussed a couple of these with you, but this was the one where I really had to pause and like, are you really decide this is what you wanted to do today?
They woke up and chose violence, would you say?
This fucking courier came in to drop off a motor.
Okay.
So I got to take the forklift out to go outside for a second.
Sure.
It's been raining all week.
Oh, yeah, it's nasty out here.
This is some old crappy guy, old crappy St. Louis guy, a sentient can of Natty Light, as it were. And
I laugh as I pick up a can of Natty Light. So.
You're so it's raining out, and I eyeball the forks. And he's got his tailgate down, his old beater truck, and I'm going in, and he starts fucking screaming.
What's it? What?
He starts fucking, you're gonna hit my truck! And And him saying that actually causes me to hit his truck.
Oh, Lord.
And he's like, fucker. And I'm like, I got like 10 fucking things to do at my job, right? I don't have time for this asshole. So I just fucking like, and he's just like, asked me for, the whole thing. And there's no, I don't sign fucking paperwork with this fucking courier company. And I'm like, fuck, finally. Guy's out. And the roll door is right next to the sales office where my boss and manager are.
Sure.
So I walk in, I talk to my manager. I'm like, that fucking courier's called me an ass fucker. Can you believe that? And he's just like, what? Our boss, who's in the corner, pipes up and goes, yeah, well, if a guy thinks you're going to hit his truck, he's going to call you a fucker. And I go, there was no world I was going to hit this guy's truck. And he goes, oh, okay. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And I find out later that a salesman that was walking by as this happened heard the guy screaming, and he just walked in the sales office like, Bryan almost hit that guy's truck.
Nice.
Cool. Thanks, bro.
Great
fucking
support.
Sick.
Yeah.
This job that, like, first of all, fucked me on my bonus.
Yeah.
Fucked everyone really hard on their bonus.
Yeah.
Mind you, I'm going to tell you, everything I preface here is the company that had its most profitable year in its entire history. It's not even a $20 million a year company, and it beat last year by millions.
Yeah.
Just to tell you how much growth there was in one fiscal year. Mm-hmm. And right after Thanksgiving, after everyone starts buying presents and stuff, no overtime.
Eesh. No overtime over the holiday. That's like,
I straight up told my boss I have never worked. I've had to tell him a few times I have never worked a job where you guys just fucking did has happened. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, I don't understand. I'm like,
clearly you don't understand.
You don't understand. This is you guys make smart moves, but when you make a dumb move, it's just Jesus fucking H Christ.
Yeah.
It's not an 8-hour-a-day job that I have, unfortunately. It's one where I'm the only guy in the warehouse having to deal with all these fucking different teams and all their headaches. I can get pulled in. There's some days where I call them just "Hey Bryan" days.
Oh God.
So to put an example, today I had to put together 2 pieces of freight.
Okay.
Now, normally when I used to be able to work overtime, I could knock that out before everyone showed up. 45 minutes.
Right.
That's how long it took me to do these 2 fucking pieces of freight.
2.5 hours.
About 2.5 hours.
Okay.
So you would think you can either pay a guy overtime for 45 minutes to an hour,
right,
or you can have him waste 2.5 hours.
Yeah, waste a full hour 45 that you could have had him doing something else. Yeah.
Yeah. I've told you some things about how the bonuses they gave themselves. So apparently there wasn't any money left over.
That's an epidemic. It seems like we had you just had a really bad quarter, and I'm like, show me your pay stub.
Yeah. I want to see the ledger. Can you guys bring out the books here and enlighten me so I can argue your viewpoint to my subordinates so they don't fucking separate my body from its head?
It's 40 minutes of dogs complaining about jobs. My name's Jason. This is Bryan. Hi, how are you? What a weird week.
Yeah, it's not been my favorites.
No.
I can't say this is my favorite start to a year.
Not great. Oh, here we go.
And I would like to use the rest of my time to say how appalled I am that people are bringing up the Holocaust. Do not use other genocides to describe this one. I have been...
The Burlington Coat Factory strikes again, folks. It's a mess in there.
So that was a public comment at the Burlington
City Council.
Yeah, Burlington City Council held a public forum a couple days ago, and a young woman was speaking off a pre-prepared speech. She had it on her note cards. She was saying, don't compare the Holocaust because it's really bad to use that genocide to refer to this one. Just continues on her speech, and then there's that moment. She turns to the camera, makes a, oh, I fucked up face, covers her mouth with the cards, and goes, oh, as everyone around her starts to lose it.
It's amazing.
Really fantastic.
Talk about an epic fuck up. I mean,
you really can't have said the quiet part any louder. So yeah, the Burlington City Council, this is according to a publication called The Rake, Vermont. On Monday night, the Burlington City Council, in a rare move, voted to block a voter-initiated Israeli apartheid ballot question from appearing on a ballot in March on town meeting day. So at that is when this woman was speaking. She looks like a very young woman. She looks like someone who's maybe not as well versed in public speaking or what not to say in public. I wish her the best.
Amazing. It really makes you think.
Yeah?
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. It just really makes you think.
I didn't know if there was more. Really makes you think. Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's
Yes,
true.
it
It
is.
is a genocide.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like,
So-
she ain't wrong.
She ain't wrong,
Folks.
you know.
Ain't wrong, folks. All right, what we got next?
Oh boy.
Oh no!
So-
from Twitter user Hispanic Sean King, whose at is okay. I'm still hungry.
This is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. He says, dude comes in his pants during a twerking contest, and it's immediately and loudly pointed out to the 500 people in the room while they show his cum stain on the Jumbotron, and the DJ plays drops, making fun of him. Nightmare.
Hold on! Hey, see, you want to wait, hold on. Wait. What's up? Hold on. He's coming in pants. What's that? He's coming in pants. Hold on.
He stopped the show.
So I'm going to tell you something here. I told someone else when they brought this to my attention, was like, you know what? I'm a little jealous. I wish I could get that excited about anything in life right now.
Yeah.
That I would just immediately bust. Yes, we should all laugh, but we all should realize that man has a tenderness and enthusiasm for life that most of us have probably lost due to, I don't know, working a job or plastics in our food. Like we should. This is like Baby Diego from Children of Men.
He should not be shamed and ridiculed in public. He should be exalted, is what you're getting.
Yeah, well, I'm saying this guy should be allowed to a cop. wearing the pants.
Yeah, because otherwise you wouldn't know it was him.
Yeah.
Because in the video they have thankfully blurred his face out, but they have not blurred out the jizz stain on his
Jizz stain.
and the DJ is just or whoever the guy working the crowd is just, he's come in his pants. He's he's very excited. He's come in his pants.
It sounds like maybe that was like in Jamaica, maybe.
Yeah,
There's a little bit of patois in there. It could be somewhere in the Caribbean. Again, like I don't think we should shame this man. I think
It sounds like a footy announcer. It sounds like somebody.
he's
like,
coming his pants.
Ronaldo up the crease with the. He's coming his pants. He's coming in.
And of course, the first response is from Chrissy Yamaguchi. Man,
yes.
She wins by default, then, right? Which the OP Hispanic Sean King responds with, "He does too, I guess." I would say by default, it doesn't matter. She gets the $300 gift card to the tattoo shop.
She gets the bar tab paid off. Yeah.
He's really seeming in his jeans.
Several people saying like, I would kill myself after that, to which Hispanic Sean King then follows up with, I'd write a book and go on a tour through every Barnes & Noble in America talking about it, like a woman who was held prisoner by a serial killer for 19 years. I would feel such intense shame. I don't know that I could handle it personally. But again, that's just me. Like, I'm not a very, I'm not out here going like, hey, yeah, I'm busting all weekend.
All weekend. I'm throwing ropes all weekend, and it's going to be great.
Especially when you say it like that. Hey, guys, I'm
I'm ready. SpongeBob, are you going to bust ropes? Yes, Patrick, and they're going to be fucking
I've been gooning all week.
I've been doing all week, Patrick. All right,
I'm searching online for Riley Reid's home address.
I hate it when things are mistagged on Pornhub.
I gotta stop using a Riley Reid. I gotta substitute to some other more recent porn star. It's like,
the fucking prospector shit really poisons you, because I
Yeah.
do sometimes just think about, what if there really are Lisa Ann clones in Area 51?
well, the question is are they the type of clones that are like her age now, or are they young Lisa Ann clones?
Well, if we're going by the les enfants terribles rules here, that they would probably be aging at a rapid pace.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine they would have to be coming up with new generations of Lisa Ann.
Each one like a copy of a copy, just like worse than the last.
What if Metal Gear Solid was two Lisa Ann?
Solid Lisa and Liquid Lisa. And Revolver Ocelot was like Johnny Sins. I love to reload. Let's keep it filthy. So this week, Twitter went nuts because there was a really creative use of AI, which was, of course, Taylor Swift porno.
And we're having to go to the one of the great toilets of the internet, the B image board over at 4chan.
Yeah. Now, a lot of them have to do with her being at a Chiefs game, engaging in various sex acts, her face painted where it says, like, "fick me," because you know, text in AI art is obviously very weird. That fake hog that it has there is really gross looking. It looks like the hog was painted. There's a bunch of them where it's like
a lot of football stuff, yeah.
Well, and she's painted red, right?
Yeah.
But what's really funny is that AI is really bad at nipples, and so like she has the
curvature.
Yes, the
concave.
Thank you, but no nipple.
It's like a church without a steeple.
Exactly. I'm trying to think of what movie that was where they had it was like some of Giger's artwork where it's just like a breast with no nipple. Or Diablo, maybe. Like there's even like
playing Diablo, we're just spamming left click to find the nipple.
Yeah, come on. I will say this: they have at least an idea here, and they're all giving this idea of like it's Taylor Swift being an exhibitionist in a stadium full of Chiefs fans, and everyone's grabbing her butt and all that stuff. This one's really disturbing. Someone's grabbing her boob, and it looks like she's covered in blood. So that one's really kind of weird.
This one's weird. I don't think the Chiefs are that good.
No, no.
Is that Monahan's brother?
Is a
Kumped.
Yeah, Kumped Klut.
I think what's funnier. It's like, well, remember how when I was fucking around with the being AI, and I was sending you just like. The prompts were always like dumpy Midwestern guy crying over a piece of gooey butter cake at Busch Stadium.
Yeah.
And so I think it's funny what it was defaulting to for like the men that are standing in as like the Kansas City Chief fans here are literally the guys that buy like a F-250 and have never taken it off the road.
Yes.
These guys specifically live in the western side of the state.
A lot of guys that look eerily similar. There's the guy, and then
that guy,
Matt Walsh lookalikes or something.
Matt Walsh, is that Matt Christman?
I ain't feeling in no ways tired. Says, okay, they did finally get one, and the nipples are weird. So
yeah,
all right. Well, so a lot of these images wound up on Twitter. People got really weirded out. The Swifties immediately were like, let's flood the Twitter with images of Taylor being wholesome. And so it was this whole thing. Most of the posts when you saw the phrase trending was just, who made these? And I'm like, you know who made them.
The internet. Yell my red gold, sir.
Yeah. One updo to you, my good sir.
Apparently Taylor Swift is mulling over the idea of suing the AI content generator. Yeah, whichever AI or whatever company's AI is being used to generate all this, which would be really interesting if this is the thing that broke the camel's back and actually got us some real regulation on image generation.
Yeah,
because this shit's like unsettling, and I don't like it.
It's just close enough to where you're like, is that no?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always curious to see what these models come up with.
Sure.
With your requests. Mm-hmm. But I'm not like looking for like, Taylor Swift getting fucking gaped out by a guy with sleep apnea. Mm-hmm. I'm like more like, can I have Drake praying at a McDonald's in a food court and he's wearing a onesie?
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm more interested in. Tupac on a giant crawdad walking down Bourbon Street.
Hell yeah. He's got them all. Yeah, he's kind of saddle and everything.
Saddle up. When Trump wins, how do you think he's going to humiliate DeSantis?
Publicly and often. That's all I really know.
You think he's going to hit him with the Yowie paddle?
Ooh.
Folks, should I hit him with the Yowie paddle? I chased him through the artist alley that is American politics.
They say I shouldn't do it, but
I think I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like with Ted Cruz, where it's just public and frequent, And it's just like, how does my ash taste, Ron? It's just.
And to think, we thought that guy was the coming of the Antichrist a year ago.
Who thought that guy was the coming of the Antichrist?
Wasn't
me.
There was a moment where I think no one really wanted to deeply entertain the idea, but seeing how American politics have been for, I don't know, the last 10, 20 years, we're like, wow, this guy seems to be getting some traction with his weird culture war shit.
Mm-hmm.
But he petered out, and he realized that he couldn't. He did, like Elon Musk did not have the true poster spirit.
He did not have the juice.
It might have been over when he tried to announce his run in Twitter Spaces, and it fucked up because Elon Musk laid everyone off. And then you remember the Trump.
Yeah,
the response where Dick Cheney and Hitler and Satan in the Twitter Spaces.
Oh, that was great.
I mean, it was kind of over.
The pudding with three fingers, I think,
or just the fact that DeSantis is eerily confused by the human condition, much in the way that Mark Zuckerberg is.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I recall correctly, there was like because he was at Gitmo.
Okay,
he was stationed at Gitmo as like a psychologist or some shit. I forget exactly.
Wow.
But there were like people that were at Gitmo that like remember him specifically, like people that were being tortured.
Yeah,
being like, that guy was weird. Like, you gotta think, like, if you're getting wireboarded and having like, fucking sawdust like put in your urethra, and you're like, you just remember the really weird guy. Like, man, that guy was strange.
Like Paul Ryan's roommate or whoever it was. That guy was kind of a weirdo. I think that even Ted Cruz's roommate also had the same estimation of that's like, yeah, that guy's just a real weirdo.
Just a real suck ass.
And I love to see that Meatball Ron is still a stinging blow to him, even though it's not really that great of a nickname.
Yeah.
Meatball Ron is like a bad 80s movie that you would see at the video store, and you'd rent it, and it has like somebody who looks like Kurt Russell.
Oh, it's Michael Dudikoff.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, Michael Dudikoff.
Robert Zadar is in it for some reason.
Hey, don't knock the Zadar.
No, I'm just saying, like, that's the quality of movie we're talking about, not anything specific about Robert himself. I'm saying, it stars Joe Estevez. Let's put it that way. That's what I'm saying. That kind of movie. Well, it's that time of the week. You know what time it is.
Is it time to talk about weird money?
Oh, baby.
Weird fake money?
Oh, baby, it sure is. It's Crypto Scam of the Week.
You're listening to 48 Minutes of Dogs Barking, the podcast.
And now it's time for the Crypto Scam of the Week.
This week, courtesy of, yet again, Molly White. She's pretty much the third mic at this point.
I'm just reading the description of this tweet. It just gets... I didn't know it was going to keep getting better and better. It just. So I'm going to read it here for you, folks.
Please.
Online pastor was charged in Colorado for a $1.3 million crypto scam. He's released a 9-minute long video explaining that the Lord told him to sell a cryptocurrency with no clear exit and to spend some of the proceeds on a home remodel because the Lord told us to do it.
So Molly White thankfully has prepared a supercut of the 9-minute long video with just the relevant bits. Here it is, about a minute. I'm going to play the choicest bits of the choicest bits.
We launched an exchange. The exchange technology failed. Things went downhill. And from that point forward, we've just been waiting on the Lord literally for a miracle. So the charges are that Caitlin and I pocketed $1.3 million. And I just want to come out and say that those charges are true. So there's been $1.3 million that's been taken out of, I think it was a total of $3.4 million. But out of that 1.3, $500,000 went to the IRS, and a few $100,000 went to a home remodel that the Lord told us to do. We sold a cryptocurrency with no clear exit. We did. We took God at his word and sold a cryptocurrency with no clear exit.
God told me
What the
that
fuck?
I was going to 10x on this.
God said this was going to be the next Bored Ape.
Yeah. So the full complaint, by the way, Justin Weingartner writing here for Business Den, which I've never heard of. I believe it's for Colorado. Speaking to online followers, August 22nd, 2022. Hey, it's my birthday. Eli Regalado had a divine message. It was last October that the Lord brought this cryptocurrency to me. He said, "Take this to my people for a wealth transfer. It has been confirmed 100 times since. The Lord, apparently big into crypto. It's coming, people, he said. Part of the making way for his people is to really train them up and teach them how finances work in the kingdom, because many of you are very soon going to have more money than you've ever had in your life by participating in this crypto. Regalado, a Denverite who alongside his wife Caitlin runs the online-only Victorious Grace Church. Can I stop there for a second? An online-only church? You've never seen this man in person?
Remember when the pandemic started and like that shit? Remember? Do you remember that?
I do. Yeah,
Do you
you're
remember
right.
seeing all of like the Facebook ads and stuff for like it's Eustace Cornelius the Third
Oh, yeah.
Tabernacle of Faith.
Sure.
And it's like it looks like a guy who like remembers before the first time wheat got ground.
Yes, he looks like he just recently stopped calling people English.
Yeah,
yeah.
It would literally look like something out of like an advertisement at a flea market, and you would go, "Oh my God! Oh, that really was a different time, wasn't it, folks? Like I didn't know you could advertise sarsaparilla with such imagery." Woo.
Or a Cracker Barrel. Yeah, just
a living slur.
A living slur, yes. So Regalado, creator of the cryptocurrency index coin.
This man's living slur is Mayo Boy.
Yes, absolutely, hands down. So he created the cryptocurrency index coin in the Kingdom Wealth Exchange, the only marketplace where index coin can be bought and sold. Well, that's great. You own both the coin and the exchange. They were shut down November 1st. Leading investors scrambling for answers. That same day, Regalado said that God asked him to pass a message to his investors. Stay where you're at. Stay in index coins. Stay with me where I'm telling you to go. I'm going to make a way, the Lord said to crypto investors, according to Regalado. Just take that word as gospel truth and execute on that word, and do not worry about how money's going to happen. I really believe you are going to see a miracle in very short order. State regulators are now suing them because obviously they did securities fraud. Yeah. And in that 2 minute of the 9 minute video, he admits it not once but twice.
Yeah. And I think what's really damning here is not that, whatever happened, is that at least $1.3 million of that went directly to the Regalados.
Yeah, see, I had trouble with it too. Regalado. I think it's Regalado.
That's a very that's a spicy white last name.
It really is. I wanted to say like Relgado, but I'm like, no, there's no. Yeah, it's all out of order.
Who spent it on a Range Rover, jewelry, luxury handbags, cosmetic dentistry, boat rentals, and snowmobile ventures, home renovations, and an au pair. So here's the thing: if you really fucked up, and you had like an honest heart, you probably wouldn't be indulging yourself like that.
Right. 290,000 went to the church. A church, may I remind you, that does not have a physical address.
Right.
That is online only. That is technically a non-profit, but it is owned by Eli Regalado, a local accountant who was named as Index Coin's chief financial officer, did not return phone calls. Gee, I wonder why. They used to run, according to the Colorado Division of Securities, a now-defunct marketing company, Grace-led Marketing, before creating their cryptocurrency in 2021. They marketed Index Coin as unusually stable because it would be linked to the most valuable cryptocurrencies in the world. The regulators, of course, say that is not true. They sold the coins for $1.50 each, payable to his Venmo account. Jesus Christ!
Well, you gotta understand, you gotta keep the grift.
I know
on the level of the people you're ripping off. You can't tell.
A wire transfer to Grace-led Marketing's bank account was the other option.
Yeah.
Investors were told that every index coin was worth at least $10, according to the lawsuit, and that there were 30 million coins in circulation, meaning the company should have had 300 million backing the coins. State investigators found 30 grand.
Oh, so they had shit liquidity.
Shit liquidity.
They had worse liquidity than the Ric Flair Woo coin.
Did we ever get an update on that? Do we know what happened?
I looked at it like a week ago. Honestly, it's not the worst chart I've ever seen.
Okay.
Not a lot of volume.
Yeah.
It was one of those things I expected to see it have gone to zero or something, but like it's again not the worst I've seen.
The thing that really gets me at the end here, Because index coins can only be traded on an exchange that no longer exists, investors have no way to recoup their losses. God reminds Eli and Caitlin, he says, that it is impossible to mess this up. Well, I can't think of a bigger way that you could have messed this up that you didn't already do.
Yeah, what a terrible person you and your wife appear to be. There's a lot of times, particularly with this segment, the less savory individuals come through. But I think this man and his wife deserve a very special circle of hell. You're using faith. You're saying things that could never possibly be true. You're preying on people who have unfortunately put faith in you. Anytime you scam people and you put religion in it, that's just like my friend, that's a 10x on the disgustingness of what you're doing. A lot of the crypto scam shit is everyone should have kind of maybe known better.
But in this one, you're saying, God told me.
God told me the rug pull. I know we can't. God told me to pull this rug.
One of my favorite comments about this came from an old friend of ours, Wyatt Privilege, at Wyatt_Privilege, goes by the name Warrior Cop. God told me to scam you and get those heated tile floors. Take it up with him. Just ridiculous. A 9-minute apology video.
From number one worm fan here at Post Apollo. I saw you record yourself saying you're praying for God to work a miracle in the financial sector. And as your lawyer, I just want to say, keep posting that fire.
Yeah, very, very much the drill of Al, and this is your lawyer tweet. It's fantastic. Zach XBT responded to Molly White's original thread here. People responding to the video. Stay in the boat, trust the Lord, and stop looking at the storm. Standing with you. Unending support. Thanks for the update. No one can close a door the Lord has opened. These people just got scammed by this man, and they're posting in response to his video, keep the faith, brother. Like, wait a fucking second. Hold on. This is your money. What are you doing? Like, there's no amount of cognitive dissonance that will make them stop and say, hey, wait a minute. None. Because God said it, and that's it.
Yeah, you gonna fight with God?
Yeah.
Man the cloud?
Good luck.
Space Jesus?
Can't even find him.
Where'd he go? He went out for scratchers.
God went out for scratchers. The Bryan Sutter story.
God went out for scratchers. We all are loser scratchers on the floor. On the floor of God's 92 Bronco.
Yes.
That doesn't have working door handles anymore. So you gotta roll down the window
and climb out. Yes, sir.
No, you got to pop it from the outside.
Oh.
Did you ever have a car that was that shitty?
I think I had a Mazda that had that problem.
I had a Corolla that had that problem. Woo! I looked hot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I remember to show you what kind of dirtbag I was back in the day and how just much fucking riz I had for being such so much riz I did not deserve would show up like a first date with a chick with like, hold on a second, I gotta manually roll down the door here.
Busted ass car.
Because the fucking interior handle like popped out and like a spring disappeared.
Of course.
And it was like the third time I had gone to like the family mechanic and gotten it replaced. I'm like, I just don't really want to spend another $30 and driving. Like, I don't know what the fuck. You know, it was like, are you like just really excited to get out of the car? I don't fucking know, Joe. I don't know.
I'm pulling that hand.
You know, I got a out your mom on the side of my car.
Showing up in that thing and still getting laid.
Still getting top.
Fantastic.
I was really on one at that point. I really was just burning the candle at both ends. Like, let's just see how bad I can make myself look. Hey, we're going on a first date. Let me show you my busted ass car. I'm going to take you to a nice Thai place. But I also have in white marker paint written on the side of my car, I ate out your mom, which is a promise to some and a threat to others, as I have told you. People on the highway are honking and waving.
Glad to see my mom's having a good life. You know.
Yeah. Hey, someone's got to do it.
My dad says thanks. Whatever it is.
Really, really helping out the family there, Chief.
Take him one for the team. Anyway.
Hey, you knew me back then. I really was. For a guy who was living I was living the Nick Mullen tenement.
Absolute
the
dirt
tenement,
bag.
living in a bedroom with a Chinese family, no windows, just this shitty, unenviable life. But it's like we just step out, like I think I'm gonna touch someone's vagina today,
and then you would.
I would. Yeah, now I got like a nice job, like a lovely girlfriend, but I don't even have half that riz. I'm trying to find it. I'm letting you know.
Yeah,
I haven't given up.
He's up front. He's telling you.
I'm trying to get back there, and it's hard work. I've been going to therapy, thinning out the feral cats in the neighborhood.
Wait, how? How are you thinning them out?
Listen, I can't explain it until I'm done with the cat colony.
I'm gonna see you on the news later. It was just a quiet neighbor. I don't know.
Just a quiet neighborhood. There's a guy going around with a BB gun. And
a burlap sack.
And pieces of tuna dipped in wet varnish.
Jesus.
Oh boy, I am just full of fucking.
You were on one today.
Fucking
It's
piss.
all right. I love it.
I think I'm just going to have you edit out my long diatribe about my job and just leave the most random words in.
Every other word,
like for 30 seconds. Just 30 seconds of random shit. And you're like, wow, yeah, that sucks.
That would be pretty entertaining.
I love doing things to create more work for you.
Yeah, no, hey, why not?
Before every single piece of media on the internet that you felt like was being directed towards you was about like, wow, late capitalism sucks. Well, there was a time when this felt like novel and fresh and really soul-bearing. And there was a webcomic called Sad Pictures for Children that was kind of the epitome of this very specific post-recession Obama, wow, he really ain't doing much sort of part of history.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was going into making Obama sound like an Indian war chief. I'm Barack Obama, and I love bombing children. There's a little bit Norm Macdonald in there, too.
Yeah. Let me be clear. Bombing children gets me hard.
Shooting hot ropes all over this Xbox controller. Blowing up this wedding in Yemen. Michelle has been, too.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that. I wasn't supposed to say that part.
I got lotion on my dick right now, and I'm stroking that shit.
Oh God, did you see that tall part?
Yeah. It's so good.
George Washington said, break on through to the other side repeatedly. And out of that came communism. I think black folks are very, very smart.
Did I ever talk to you about Full Metal Alchemist?
I'm over here stroking my dick. I got lotion on my dick right now. I'm just stroking my shit. I'm horny as fuck, man. I'm a freak, man. Like
Tucker Carlson. The head of my penis was bit by a dove. Like, what the hell?
Jordan Pierce is going to be here on the 14th next month. And I was asking D, like, do you want to go? Jordan Pierce. That was one of the quickest no's I've gotten in this relationship, I believe. Just no.
Yeah.
There was really not much of a discussion. I just remember just being like, no.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing that. Like, okay, I'll make you a nice poblano hot pasta or Mexican pasta.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna make her something fancy.
Okay.
Because that's my orange peel challenge. Is I cook for my partner, and I enjoy doing it.
So, Pictures for Sad Children, Brian, ran for 7 years. I didn't realize it ran that long.
I know.
I'm sure some of you have seen it. It's a simple black and white comic.
Not XKCD or whatever the fuck it's called.
Fair enough. No, you're right. Not XKCD and not.
We know we were running out of stuff for this podcast when we actually cover that one because that's like that is literally Big Bang Theory, the webcomic.
Pretty ridiculous. But the basic plot of Pictures for Sad Children is that a guy dies in a car wreck on his way to work and then just continues to work. That's the basic. That's the inciting incident. That's how the comic starts. Here's an early panel. Paul, who is a ghost who can't get his job back, and the boss is saying basically when an employee dies, replace them.
Paul cannot get his job back as a ghost. The phrase "sampling a pine cone" comes from this comic.
Yes, that's right. Do you want to go to a noise show and it's
watching a guy? Still thinking about going to the noise show and seeing a guy sample a rock, and I'm like.
I know. Yeah, this really happened.
This fucking rules. And it was a great set, but I'm like, the dude's sampling a fucking rock on a turntable. This rules with a contact mic. And
so Paul goes to Paris, tries a bunch of different stuff, continues hanging out at the job. It's depressing, but in a way that is relatable. It's also very wickedly funny. Goes to Paris and is bored in Paris. It's like, yeah, one of the characters is like, yeah, Paris is boring. Like, well, I wish I'd known that.
Yeah, or he's in Paris and someone's telling him like, oh, you're surrounded by all this history. And he's just like poking him. This is a bullshit town. And like, I've definitely traveled to places and felt like this is bullshit. Why are we here? This sucks.
Exactly.
It definitely feels like it's written by a millennial who got a real fucking shock to the system getting their first adult job. There's this Alan Watts lecture you can find it on YouTube. The guys from South Park, oddly enough, famously animated it. And I think it's one of the most poignant things Alan Watts ever said, which is basically, you grow up and you get told there's going to be this great exciting thing one day it's going to happen to you or happen for you. You go through school, you go to work, and the whole entire time you're waiting for this great big thing. And you finally graduate college and you have a family and all that. And you've done it. You've done all the things. You get there and you think you finally won your prize and there's nothing. And then you realize that you've been cheated, you've been lied to, which is in this terrible way, because the whole entire point of life was not getting to this end. It was dancing the whole entire time on your way. I feel like a lot of sad pictures for children is kind of realizing that maybe sooner than some other people that the lie.
Yeah. They're able to see through it in a way that's not only funny, but it's also poignant and feels very real, despite it being about a ghost. It uses the ghost thing as a way to kind of free itself from some of the strictures of what would be normally like an office comic, like a Dilbert. This is a bit, you can do more fantastical things, but even the fantastical things are still grounded in this very mundane reality. Inverse.com had a great piece. This is the one that you sent me.
I really enjoyed it. I thought this was very enlightening.
Even if it didn't exactly tell a linear story, Pictures for Sad Children created a tiny universe with an array of strangely relatable yet nearly indistinguishable characters, mouthless people with stick arms, rectangular bodies, and round heads, all living in grayscale. It was a universe where songs have names like Baby I Feel Bad for Feeling Bad, where the characters have porn on DVD with titles like A Japanese Woman Fries an Egg and Asks You About Your Day, which that kind of presaged the whole ASMR thing.
That sounds like an AVN.
And they screen calls on a magical BlackBerry, call from dad concerned about politics. The creator, who now goes by the name Simone Weil, they keep bringing up this formerly known as this name, and I'm like, there's no reason for that. They want to be known as Simone Weil to go to Simone Weil. So this interview that the New Yorker did, they opened with, "Why so sad?" And Simone responds, "I suppose my comics can be a little sad, but I'm not sadder than the average person, I think. Like, Charles Schultz was a pretty average dude and did not wish that he was dead all that much." What an Akewood sentence right there. I bet whoever makes Blondie likes to eat small sandwiches, just the tiniest sandwiches in the whole world, to their shame. And the woman who makes the Lockhorns loved her husband, and now he's dead. Like, what? Simone saying, "Well, no, I'm not really that sad or whatever. These stories might be depressing, but I'm fine. To me, that's interesting. It reminds me of like Junji Ito. Like, he's just a very normal guy. He loves cats. Like, he's just kind of a goofy dude. You'll find that these people who write about stuff, generally that's not who they really are. It's not like Edgar Allan Poe's hanging out in the graveyard. He's probably just some dude, Comic ran for several years, and then they decided to do a book. This is where shit got weird. 2012, Weil held a successful Kickstarter campaign which raised $51,000 to create a print version. The original crowdfunding goal was only $8,000.
So pretty successful.
Very, very successful, absolutely. In August, a few months after the campaign had concluded, the artist published a lengthy satirical post on the Kickstarter page in which she claimed that she'd been pretending to be depressed in order to gain a profit. According to the post, her biggest regret was that she made it easier for what she described as borderline people to trick themselves into thinking that they were depressed as well. In the post, Weil stated she expected the book would be finished and delivered by the end of 2012. February of 2014, Vail published a new blog post. She confirmed she was able to ship 75% of the rewards to her backers, but was unable to ship any more because she ran out of money. The post was accompanied with a video that shows Vail burning over 100 copies of the book with an attached threat to burn even more. Vail spent $30,000 producing the 200-page hardcover book, and even more to include a plastic-wrapped dead wasp in each copy, leaving little money for actual shipping. In 2021, Vail stated that the books were burned because they were misprints or otherwise unsaleable copies, and indicated that all backers who contributed at least $15 had received their copy. But a very odd thing to do. Here's the CBR com from 2014 talking about this. Vail posted a video of themselves burning 127 of the remaining books, one for each of the messages via social media she's received about the books being late. And that she'll burn another one every time she gets another message about a backer not getting their rewards. Accompanying the video update is a lengthy essay that maligns capitalism and outlines their current financial situation, going so far as to post screen caps of their bank balance and passes judgment on the Kickstarter model. Vail further states they will not be sending any refunds for those who have not yet received their rewards, telling those seeking a refund to, quote, please contact a fan of my work directly for your money. This is where money would come from anyway. I am cutting out the middleman. It's hard to say what happened there, because Vail themselves have not made a lot of public commentary about it, shall we say.
I think it. I mean, from that and the inverse interview, it really feels like Simone found themselves. They felt like they were maybe not making art or expressing themselves as they first started, but were instead now making content to be consumed in the capitalist model,
which is definitely prescient, considering it's still happening and on scales that we hadn't even imagined at that time. So yeah, and it's alluded to in this interview that Simone basically kind of smothered in the crib probably what could have been a successful career. Right. I can defend this line of thinking because my own brother, basically when he was done with Google, he just did consulting work for a couple different startups, and he had coworkers and friends that went on to start, Twitter. He has friends that went to go on and work in, the Obama administration and do all these big crazy things. And my brother is just kind of a modest guy, and he kind of picked kind of the weirdo monk version of a tech guy life. He's like, well, yes, I worked with Biz Stone, I worked with Jason Goldman. I'm not going to keep name dropping here, but they're like the people, and those guys have all this money, and I guess they have clout and they have power, but like there's a certain miserableness in that life that I don't have. Right. Like, I know how much money I have. Those people they don't know what they really have because it's all in investments and so forth. Like, there's a opaqueness to what is really going on, whereas the choice I have made, like, I know precisely what is going on in my life. Right. I have picked something simpler, and I think there's value in that. Yeah, because you've made a very clear distinction. This is what I'm willing to do. This is, there's a line, then I've drawn it, kind of thing. Like, and I absolutely respect that, because once you start chasing doing the art for money, it becomes a problem. It starts to really have issues, because then you're changing the art so that it makes money versus just doing the art that is art's right. Art for art's sake. You lose what you find yourself losing what made your work or your output so evocative and so attractive and interesting to begin with, because now it's like Pavlov's dog. Right. You're trying to fucking just keep doing the right thing. You're trying to the Skinner box. You're trying to get the treat, and you'll do whatever to get the treat. And it's like, even if you debase yourself, you're gonna do it to get the treat, because the treat's really important to you. I absolutely get it. In the inverse article, this is the curse of capitalism. The more a customer pays, especially for something that feels like it has no intrinsic value, an image on a screen, the more they feel they own. And I guess by the time they got to the Kickstarter book, they were starting to feel like, yeah, this isn't really mine anymore.
Some people have some strong feelings about that. Some people... also, I guess it depends on how you interact with things or how people interact with you. If you feel like it's not really so much yours anymore, that it's becoming a collective thing, it depends on what the collective is doing with it.
Yeah.
Because I think also a thing that Simone had an issue with was that maybe like the wrong people were making up their fan base. I'll put it for example here. I took all these great photos during Ferguson, and photos that have lots of meaning, and that it wasn't easy to create these images and be in these moments.
No, it was not.
And the only fucking photo for years anyone ever wanted was a fucking DeRay McKesson.
Yeah, I know.
And like I would try and be like, I have these really other great photos that aren't of a guy that's a union buster.
Yeah,
and who kind of. And I know why it's DeRay McKesson, not the photo of the homeless veteran getting dragged by riot cops outside of City Hall in the snow, is because DeRay McKesson is a much easier, cuddlier thing for Capital to rub up against. DeRay McKesson is digestible.
Yeah.
But I understand, I definitely identify with what you want from me is not what I want to give you.
They address it directly in the comic. This, according to the inverse article, this is their description, and it is pretty much what's in there. Have I told you about how nerds destroy the world, Paul says. Nerdy obsession with gadgets leads to, quote, landfills full of functioning electronics, Paul says as he smashes a computer. There's a special kind of nerd, though, who thinks computers will overtake mankind in 30 years, changing humanity in ways incomprehensible to us now. He continues, so the singularity is the nerd way of saying in the future being rich and white will be even more awesome. The nerdy obsessions, video games, digital devices, perhaps even webcomics, are all about focusing on something, Paul rants, quote, that isn't the crushing vacuousness of their lives. Setting a laptop on fire, Paul the Ghost looks at his silent debate partner. Nerds do not redefine adulthood. They waste it. A pause. I am not telling a joke. You are terrible. It feels like late-stage Carlin.
It also, way. I think what really kind of struck me reading about this was how this really pinpoints the malaise.
Oh, yeah.
That we would, us as millennials, would be experiencing over the next 10 years. Of like, oh, well, nothing's good. Home ownership, clean water, a world worth living in, a world where at least if we go to war, it seems like there's a good reason. One where we don't waste $52 million on a stupid fucking trolley, to go from a history museum that people forget to outside of a Italian restaurant that no longer exists.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah,
I'm talking about the Del Mar Loop trolley, folks. One of the most famous boondoggles in recent history, other than the police. New rule.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say next. You read my mind. Yeah.
But like looking back, like this does feel like the first wave break.
Yeah.
And a realization of like we've all been fucking had.
It's never going to get better. And what am I even doing?
Yeah. I mean that is what's the fucking point of this? Because it's already the game has already been rigged against us.
And that's exactly the point that Vale makes multiple times in the post accompanying the video of them burning the Kickstarter books.
Yeah, I guess even take to a finer point of from what this said 10 years ago. Right now is that Amber Lee Frost just has something published in Jacobin, which is basically like what if Amber Lee Frost wrote a synopsis of Pictures for Sad Children. It's a great piece. I posted it on Twitter and Facebook.
Okay. I only see half of stuff that actual friends post.
Yeah.
And I'll get every post from like
Marilyn Manson fans.
Yeah, or some like the guy who does nothing but like reposts TikToks of people doing stunts and eating it, because I'm like, okay, that's as close to skate videos as I'm going to get on my timeline. So
I kind of got to watch these.
Those are important. Got to keep those in the feed. But yeah, like most of my For You pages wind up not showing me things my actual friends post. But no, so I haven't seen it. I am very interested because I do like Amber's writing. I think she's very clear-eyed as far as those types of things go.
I think one of the most poignant things that she says in the article is called Adulting in Middle Age.
Oof. I'm feeling that.
The ending paragraph, I think, is probably the best part of it as far as being direct, which is, for a lot of millennials, there's just nothing to look forward to. No rewards to go with the responsibilities of age. Nothing cool or fun or exciting or even dignified about getting old. It just beats the alternative.
Beats the alternative is something that my grandmother said. A woman who lived through the Depression. The fact that that sentiment still rings true is fucking painful.
Yeah.
Like, this is it, huh? All right.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm going to be turning 38 this year. And I think about when I was younger and I would look at my mom's friends that were in their late 30s, where they were, and like, wow, those are whole ass adults.
Yeah.
Like they had like a house, they had a job, they had a fucking pool table and like cool shit. And they didn't ever seem like super worried about the things that we're worried about. I mean, if they were worried about money or about this or that, they didn't really show it.
Like, I'm 43 this year. And I got very lucky in a lot of regards, and so I don't have the same anxieties as some people. I have different ones.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're definitely not the same anxieties my parents had. They're definitely not the same anxieties my grandparents had. You know what I mean? Like, there's still stuff that enters my brain that I feel like they never thought about. They weren't concerned with it. Because as far as they knew, that all that was settled. That's over and done with.
Yeah. Like my mom has a big thing about like that I just have these like absurd high expectations of life and like the places I work.
Yeah, where do you think you got it from?
Like when I was talking about the lackluster bonuses at my job.
Oh yeah.
My mom was like, well, what makes you so, and then proceeds to tell me all the times that she got fucked out of her bonus. We're like, well, actually, per company rules, you're entitled to a $2,800 bonus, but seeing that that your team only met its goals for 1 out of the 4 quarters, you're only going to get a fourth of that.
Okay.
And like, and that's just the rules. And it's like, yeah, those rules fucking suck.
Yeah.
Like that's bullshit.
That's just the way it is. People bug
that
me.
Fucking sucks. No, that's just the way it is how we have people starving and freezing to death on the streets in this fucking country. Yet we're sending over tens of billions of dollars of death machines over to Israel,
and then we're arresting the priests who are out actually doing the fucking word of the Lord and taking care of those people in the streets. We're arresting them.
We're charging them. We're vilifying them. And like, what the fuck's going on? I think me and you, and I think perhaps many people that are listening to this right now that are of a similar age, we're kind of told that things were going to be okay.
Or better. Not necessarily going to be okay, but like, yeah, the future's going to be great.
It'll all work out.
Yeah.
I remember feeling that, being told that, or that being implied to me from so many different directions. Not like just from family or something, but like from culture, from like school. Like, it's all going to work out. Like, you'll get a good job. And like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have some bumps in the road, but it's all going to work out.
Yeah. Oh, the places you'll go type thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just in general, if the economy is doing so well, right? And then again, this will be more universal, when we're thinking about like people that you and I know that maybe don't have steady employment, but yet on the news every night, it's the economy is doing great. For who?
For who? It's not for. I mean, like my girlfriend,
right?
She busts her ass. She works very hard. She works a very hard job, and people in her profession do not. I mean, I don't get paid what I deserve, but she most certainly does not.
Right.
And a lot of people that do work like her do not get. Gosh, I just don't want to make this like a huge bummer conversation, but I mean, this is kind of a huge bummer comic. Like, I mean, it really does hit some stuff that sticks with you. I mean, this is why I thought we had already done this.
Yeah, because I think we've had similar conversations about what these things are about.
I think we might talk about this with Casey Green when we have him on.
We did briefly touch on this with Casey, and I would really like to talk to him again because he just had a successful Kickstarter for a book, much like Simone, the Pinocchio book that I was talking about. It was a big success as well because Casey Green despite not being a household name, is a very internet famous kind of thing. Same with Simone Vale.
He's created something that's going to fucking a couple of things. I think they're going to outlive him.
Yeah, absolutely. Dick butt,
question hound, kill all nerds.
.exe. Dad brand whiskey. I love that one.
The Pikachu don't tread on me. Yeah, it's interesting in that Inverse interview that Casey Green's this is fine dog is mentioned, and
as a thing that's kind of
permeated.
Not only that, but also like it is kind of the opposite of some of the sad pictures for sad children comics, in that Question Hound is literally on fire at certain points in the comic, but he's saying this is fine, as opposed to Simone's characters who are saying, no, this is fucked up.
Yeah, so, in that situation, they'd be like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
I can't believe this is my job. Being on fire, this fucking sucks. I hate my parents,
So what really interested me, I did not know that Simone Vale was the creator of this. This was news to me. Simone Vale, this says it was 2006, they began drawing hourly autobiographical comics. They then recruited several other cartoonists to spend February 1st doing the same. Hourly Comics Day came out of this. So I did not know that was Simone Vale.
Kate Beaton and John Allison are being name dropped here on the Wikipedia page.
Kate Beaton's amazing. If you haven't read Hark a Vagrant, you've probably seen the comic where it's Edgar Allan Poe getting a love letter from some other author who was like really into him. Do you want to be friends? Yes or no? And he's staring at it like this. And then in 2013, Vale published DMT, a color comic about
that short period of time we're talking about. DMT was really cool.
Yep.
Before it became a punchline with Joe Rogan.
Yep. Fans noticed that a website reported to the official website of the film Birdman contained an assortment of stories and comics by Simone Vale about Michael Keaton. Have you seen the film, this Birdman film?
Yes. I went on a date with someone to that film, and I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I think Itaru hasn't really topped it. I think, and boy, Emma Stone in that.
Yeah.
Anyway, to wrap this up on Pictures for Sad Children, I found a Something Awful thread. This was in the... I forgot that was the name of the forum, BSS, Bisexual Super Son. It was listed as the original Zack Snyder containment zone. So someone in a thread there, Electro Boot, says, "Hey guys, I've never."
Used to be Batman's Secret Stash.
That's what BSS stands for. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, no, it's Bisexual Super Son. It was a reference to Superman's son being bi in the comic. Anyway, it's a whole thing. Hey guys, I've never posted here, but I have something I think a lot of people will be interested in. A few years ago, maybe 2012. Simone Vale of Pictures for Sad Children auctioned off two of her personal laptops. I bought one of the two, but didn't really spend any time looking through it because then I was in grad school and extremely busy / depressed. So unfortunately at the same time, the whole Kickstarter meltdown was when I was moving a long way, so it sat in storage with my parents until now, and the now reference in this post was 2017, so 3 years later. I have no idea what to do in this situation. There's 300 gigs worth of stuff on here. Not sure yet how much is worthwhile, but I'm open to the idea of passing some of the contents around. So they then post a picture of the box that Simone sent the laptop in, which is the character there from a Picture for Sad Children, handle with care.
I believe that's Gary.
Gary, thank you. Thanks for buying this laptop, goes the handwritten note. From me, it seems strange and nice. Pretty classic Acer book. And the desktop images, a shirtless guy in a ball cap, and a faucet is dripping on him.
Yeah, amazing.
Apparently there's all sorts of, boo-hoo, boo. All music is unbearable. These are the folders. Pigeon sweat. Someone replies, of course, put it online right now. This is Yoast Post as fuck.
Posting stats.
Yeah. Does anyone know how to get in touch with them anymore? They did a pretty good job of disappearing from the internet. Maybe through the guy who finished shipping books for the Kickstarter? Not expecting a different response if I do, but I guess it's worth a try. Permaband user Bravest of the Lamps. Throw it into the bonfire, along with all other vanities you may possess. Yeah, let's see what they got permad for. Every single post you make is a dumb one-liner about how a thing is bad. You haven't contributed anything of substance in years. You are the most boring kind of person to have any discussion with, and I don't think you have any positive effect on the forums. I don't care if you're right or wrong about the subject. So many people are sick of dealing with your shit. Go away. God, if a mod ever hit me with that, I would go away.
Yeah. Thing bad, post bad. Yes. User loses posting privileges for 6 hours. A ban for relentless trolling plus personal attacks. Everyone's bored and tired of it. Shaming people on internet forum for their hobbies is also a lame hobby.
Lazy trolling in a thread with potential. So the Bravest of the Lamps, not the best judging character
not a top tier poster
in any way.
I will not be subscribing to their Substack.
Here's Cat Mattress saying, turn it into a memorial wasp nest. Does it have the Long John Silver's comic? I don't remember the Long John
The Long John Silver's comic is one where it's like a character eating at Long John Silver's and being like, I have lupus or whatever. and they're like, oh, you should have some of our food. And the person, the employee at Long John Silver's being like, lupus is a complex autoimmune disease. The food will do nothing to help you.
Damn. So I just thought that was interesting. Obviously, the OP did not wind up posting anything from the laptop online. Here it is. I'm torn between telling the OP to ignore their wishes or destroy one of the last traces of the comic. The mods closed it with, based pure only reading this thread. Fucking mods. And not knowing anything else about this, the fact that the author is trying to get it taken down from other places is all the answer you need. Keep it for yourself or wipe the drive. Posting it here is not an option. And so the thread was closed.
I'm a no mods, no masters kind of guy.
The mods. So that, as far as I know, and that inverse piece was pretty much the end of the saga, as it were. I'm still sad that it's gone. Now, I did show you there is an Imgur. Somebody had posted 400-something comics from that run. You may be able to find it online. I don't know. It's against Simone's wishes, so it's kind of a gray area.
It sucks because this person feels very alienated and unhappy about their work, or at least how it's been perceived or consumed, for lack of a better word.
Which is a shame because it speaks so clearly to something.
It encapsulates a point in time and a certain feeling, I think, pretty much better than anything else I've come across from that era. Then it asks you questions. What do you do with art? What do you do with creativity when someone no longer wants it to be seen? But you can't deny its poignancy or its importance or its worth.
Yeah, because the work still has power, even though the artist has maybe divorced themselves from it. It's still,
or however you want to put it.
Yeah,
I still think they create something that's really worthwhile and has a lot of value. And I guess it sucks that the internet didn't perceive it in the way that she wanted. But I think there's a lot of people that really took it to heart, which is why I think you still kind of randomly see strips from this popping up on like a Twitter argument or something.
Yeah, because it has that same kind of, the way Achewood would be poignant. It's very much that same feeling I always got from that comic. There would be these moments of real, holy shit, this is a comic and it's telling me, this deep universal truth in the form of a ghost who literally can't quit his job.
Right. He feels compelled
by forces that he does not understand. There's something to be said for that.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
Shock.jpg.
In the spirit of the fact that our subject this week, our main topic, was a bit of a downer sometimes, I figured the shock.jpg has got to be at least funny. And so I've discovered that someone still, via the online archives, had Walk the Dinosaur. Are you familiar with this one?
I'm not. I have Walked the Dinosaur.
Yes, there is that old song by Was Not Was called Walk the Dinosaur. This, of course, has that looping in the background.
Of course, why wouldn't it?
Why wouldn't it? That was a big meme song for a while there, and so this kind of came from that. It's a mirror from Shock Chan, which is also no longer a site. It is some really crappy CG dinosaurs in a 69 position.
Oh, is this from 3D Gay World?
Yes. It's 8 seconds long, and it will loop indefinitely if you let it. It is two dinosaurs blowing each other.
Yeah.
That's
They're
it.
really going for it.
So the description on Shock Chan, Walk the Dinosaur takes the viewer back millions of years to a land before time. It shows that dinosaur love came in many forms and captures a special moment between two velociraptors. Like Meat Spin, the Walk the Dinosaur shock loop gets better the longer you watch it. And I will say, it doesn't get any less funny.
It's definitely unique.
It has this 3D Gay World, you said?
Yeah, that's what it was. Well, I think 3D Gay World is the I think that's where the image of, I think you know where I'm going.
Go ahead.
Where it's like a person, a very muscular man having sex with a Tyrannosaurus Rex on like a plateau. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where like the man is dwarfed, but he's like getting it in somehow still.
No, I don't know this one.
Oh, wow. I've just really outed myself as some sort of freak.
No, hey, look, everybody comes to the table with different stuff. 3D
different things they were traumatized by on the internet.
Exactly, yeah. Some people were like, "Oh, go see fine," and some people were like, "There's a guy with a light bulb in his ass." It's just it's everybody's.
I got two.
Oh yeah, that's right, because he puts a second one in there. Walk the Dinosaur has this whole weird second life as a meme song.
Yeah.
Because there would be 4chan posts, we're back on the 4chan thing again. There'd be 4chan posts. It was these long, drawn-out green text. Green text is where you put the little caret in front of your text so that it looks different on the board, as opposed to writing out a story in any kind of regular manner. It's very abbreviated. It's almost like its own kind of tone poem. If you're on Reddit, r/green text is a pretty decent view of some of these. But the green text stories would be, be me, B14, and it would be going on a stem winder. It'd be like 2 pages of threads, and then it would end with, "Get on the floor, everybody walk the dinosaur," as a way to end the story, like a bait or like a joke. The same way that people would use Rick Astley or whatever other cheesy song that they felt was appropriate. Yeah, Walk the Dinosaur was that's only if you're reading that green text in Fayad and you're like, Beacock. Yes, Walk the Dinosaur had its own meme life before this was made, and the fact that there was a walkthedinosaur.com that you could then link people to. Boy.
Oh.
I'm sure was not very happy about that. Wasn't a great band to begin with.
I don't know if they really have a choice. The art has evolved past them.
They're no longer in control of that song, is what you're saying. It's like Rick Astley kind of lost control of Never Gonna Give You Up after a while.
I mean, he kind of has a little bit of control now, but yeah, I get what
you're now, saying. Yeah, but for a while there, it was kind of just like whatever. People were just doing it. I like the fact that he's been doing a couple of sets where he does his best Morrissey voice and does Smith's songs with like Johnny Marr. I'm like, yeah,
that's funny.
Fucking get rid of Morrissey, bring him in.
Morrissey.
Yeah.
You know what? The guy who came his pants, I think, should be allowed to Morrissey.
Yeah? As kind of a karmic justice kind of thing?
I think it would just be really cool to see Morrissey be by a brown man with a jizz stain on his light blue jeans. He'd be like, "Oi, what's this? Oh, I'm dying! Oh, is that Packy? I'm getting got by a goddamn... Oh, Packy! Oh...
I fucked it. Yeah,
I fucked it.
Yeah, Morrissey.
I like that Morrissey looks like a miserable person now. My aunt, who big rock and roller, at Christmas time she was telling me, I've heard these stories all before, but I wanted to hear them all the time. She's run to like Ron Wood in her life, and
oh yeah,
being at front row at Hail Hail Rock and Roll because one of her friends was really hot and dressed really hot, and they're like, "Oh, we need some girls up front."
Oh, so was she in the movie?
She's in the movie for a couple seconds, but
that's amazing.
She's got this really great story about waiting out back at the Fox Theater, and there's a guy. He's like in the driver's door, the passenger's door, I forget which side of a limo out there. And he's got his back to the crowd. My Aunt Kelly is waiting to see Keith Richards. Richard's so fucking cool. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, a few rock stars I think have probably just maintained like, yeah, he's pretty fucking cool.
Keith's one of them for sure.
Yeah, like never really like had like a down point. I think even when he's being shitty, like, yeah, but it's fucking Keith Richards.
Yeah, you will you will excuse a lot for Keith.
He wrote all of this really cool shit.
Yeah,
like,
doesn't matter who he ripped off, he still fucking rips. You know, like whatever. Yeah.
And the whole entire time, people are walking by, and she's like, "Does that guy look like Ron Wood?" And people are just kind of blowing her off. And eventually, this guy turns around, and it's Ron fucking Wood. And he just goes, "Ha!" and gets in the fucking limo.
Was he driving then? Is that what Ron Wood is driving the limo?
I mean, that would be kind of fucking funny. Maybe he was on the... I can't remember the specifics of the story. I've been told it a million times. It's just... I just love hearing the part that it was Ron Wood the whole fucking time. And here she is loudly going, "Doesn't that guy look like Ron Wood from the back?"
Yeah, well, I mean...
My favorite thing about Hail Hail Rock and Roll is that all of these musicians finding out that Chuck Berry is a huge piece of shit. It's like all these people, they came to St. Louis, a fucking gutter town in the middle of this shit country in the, like, 80s.
Yeah.
And they're all paying homage to this father of rock and roll who's like a paranoid, angry, shitty guy.
Not a great person.
Not a great person. I have met Chuck Berry a few times, and he tried to shake my hand, and I gave him a fist bump because I've seen that video.
Right, you know where his hands have been.
I know what he does with those hands. There's a famous story. Since Shock.JPEG's a little short here.
Right, yeah.
There's a famous story you used to go through the guitars. I'm adjusting my microphone here.
Yeah, he's got to get ready.
Proper tale telling posture.
Please,
here.
Yeah.
The half lotus. So there used to be a guy that worked in Pro Audio. Nice guy. At the time the story was told me he no longer worked there. He like finished college and like moved.
That principle of the thing though. Yeah, it's not your story.
Sure. It's not my tale to tell so explicitly.
Right.
But so Chuck Berry comes in and the guy's like, "Oh shit, Chuck Berry, what's up?" And he's, "Oh, I just want to look at like your speakers and stuff." And so they're going through and they're checking out the PA speakers on the speaker wall, and they're talking about like, you know, what kind of power, like what kind of wattage you're looking at, like how much air, how much sound you're looking to produce,
sure,
how much air you're looking to move. And the guy is like, you know, qualifying the customer like you're supposed to do. Like, what are you doing? Like, so what are you like building a new practice space like at your house or something? You put like a little club up in the bar? And he goes, "I was looking for someone to watch some sexy movies."
Okay, all right.
The guy's like, "Well, Chuck, I would love, obviously, for you to spend your money here, but these are really more like live audio.
This is not home theater.
This is not home theater. These are not great for. You can, but Ultimate Electronics, if you just turn right onto the Rock Road, 2 lights down on the left, there's Ultimate Electronics. They have a great home theater set up there. There's someone there who would be more than happy to help you, Chuck." And the guy is like, "Okay," leaves. And people are like, "You weren't going to take Chuck Berry's money?" And he's just like,
you want to give him what he wants. That's
he wants to watch his sexy movies. I want to make sure he gets the back. It's fucking Chuck Berry. He's the guy who invented rock and roll. I don't want to fucking shortchange the guy that invented rock and roll.
Right, because he's going to come back and like, I can't hear the back shots or whatever. You know, it's like I can't hear the piss splashing on the woman's face that you sold me the
funny
lemon.
You say these things where the story is going. So about like 30 minutes later, Paige comes over to the intercom. You know, such and such pick up line 2. You got a call holding on line 2. He picks it up. It's Chuck Berry.
Oh no!
And he's like, "So where's this Ultimate Electronics?" And he's like, "You literally turn right onto the Rock Road."
Okay.
And it's 2 lights down on the left. He's like, "Oh, I turned left on the Rock Road." Now,
because this is an audio medium, I did a knowing look and a finger wag because I know where Chuck wound up.
I know, we both know where Chuck wound up. Chuck is like, "Well, I need you to come meet me at this parking lot, Matt, and I'm going to follow you there." And the guy is like, okay, where are you at? I'm like, I'm in the parking lot of a place called Rodeo Drive.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, okay, I'll be there in a minute. He gets off the phone and he tells his boss, hey, I got to do this weird thing because it's Chuck Berry.
Yeah.
I got to meet him in the parking lot. He told me the name of the business. And the manager, the key holder he's talking to is a huge fucking pervert.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, where's he at? It's like this place called Rodeo Drive. And he's like, oh, that's a porn shop.
Yeah. That is where I got White Bitches and Heat Volume 1.
So you're a student of the craft.
Yes.
Anyways, this guy drives down. Guy goes picks up Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry's in his fucking Plymouth Prowler. That was his big thing. Take him, follows him, literally all the way back to 3 or 4 lights down from Guitar Center. Here's Ultimate Electronics, Chuck. Chuck's just like, oh man, you're so nice. I really appreciate this. And I got a little something for you while I was in the shop.
Oh no.
And the guy's thinking like, I'm gonna have to tell my kids one day this story. I don't want to take anything from Chuck Berry, particularly if it's in a brown paper bag. Oh, it's in the brown paper bag.
Yeah.
He takes the brown paper bag and he's like, oh, thanks. Chuck starts to walk away. He goes, Chuck's like, when a man hands you something as a gift in a package, you got to look at it. It's the only proper thing to do. And he's like, fuck. No. He opens it up, and it's a DVD of pregnant black women and cotton panties and bras pissing themselves. And that's what he got from Chuck Berry for being a good man.
Well, I mean, he just assumes everybody's into what he's into, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
I'd kiss you, baby, but you smell like piss.
Right. That's fucking story. Yeah.
According to Brace Belden,
yeah,
that there's a second part of that video where he like farts on the woman in the bathtub. I don't know if it's before or after. I've never seen that part.
Yeah, I've only ever seen the first bit. So
yeah, apparently there's a director's cut.
Release the Snyder cut.
Release the Snyder cut of the Chuck Berry video.
So I guess that means it's time for the breath mint.
It's time for your mom's favorite part of the show. It's time for the breath mint.
Because we've definitely been drinking piss.
So for the breath mint this week, Brian, I have been really enjoying my time with my Nintendo Switch. Been really digging through some games that I missed. Realized that I had started and then completely abandoned Kirby and the Forgotten Land, 3D Kirby game, which I didn't expect to be any good, but it is very, very good. It's doing something new with a franchise that we kind of figured was dead in the water. Like, nobody really expects a lot from a Kirby game. This one really surprised me. It had a lot of great stuff going for it. Some of the boss fights were tough. Like, you wouldn't think a Kirby game would have
Kirby's usually
bosses.
like the experimental easy game.
There's some ways to make it easier. There's an easy mode, that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you play through on normal and you're trying to like beat all the bosses, there's a bunch of secret bosses, 6 extra levels that are extra hard, and you can choose to do those and you can choose not to. But I always choose to do them because I'm like, well, I beat the game. Let's see what else is going on here, and I had a good time with it because and then after all that, there's also a 12 boss rush in this Coliseum thing, and that is what I got stuck on that for days because it's you have 6 healing items to beat 12 bosses. You got to make them count. Some of these bosses are not easy, and so I was like, wow, a Kirby game really got me. Kind of shocked by that, and then I have been playing. I started and finished Metroid Dread in its entirety, which is either good or bad depending on who you ask. For me, a Metroid game should only be about 20 hours. You don't really need it to be any longer. It's exploration. It's where the whole Metroidvania name came from because you explore, you get new powers, which opens up other areas, and da-da-da-da-da. This one attempts to retcon a bunch of different games. It's like a sequel to Super Metroid and a sequel to Metroid Fusion, which is the one that has the X-Parasite. By the end of the game, you've like wrapped up 2 other games in your plot, and then this whole other Star Wars style spoiler thing that's like, what? But it's a fun ride. It's classic 2D Metroid with this counter mechanic. Enemies will flash and then come at you. Yeah. And if you hit a button at the right time, you counter, you can get some of your health back. And it's kind of a neat little push-pull mechanic. Just, I'm really being impressed by a lot of Switch games these days. I started Tears of the Kingdom. Can't wait to get back to it. So, like, boy, buying myself a used one off Facebook Marketplace is really working out for me.
Oh, well, I'm happy
games-wise. Yeah. What about you? Something new for you?
I'll give you a little bit of Sopranos update.
Oh, yeah, please.
Ralphie's gone.
Yeah.
I think Joey...
Rest in piss, you dirty motherfucker.
I think Joey Pants really did an excellent job of showing all the different shades of shit of that character.
Especially in his final scene.
Yeah, I mean, I think he, as far as someone who... I mean, his character lasted 2 seasons, which is pretty good for the villain of the month.
I was going to say, yeah, for Sopranos, it's very good. I think the only one that gets him beat is Phil Leotardo.
I know he's 5th and 6th season.
Yeah, so he's got him edged by maybe 1 or 2 episodes because the 6th season was split in 2.
Right.
So,
but very satisfying to see Ralphie go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh wow, I really am seeing the depth of this show. I'm really becoming a Sopranos guy. I really should be. I should. I'm gonna have to go on like Etsy or something and buy a bootleg Weed Pranos Cumtown shirt or something. I get it. Like whole generation of dumpy guys being like, yeah, it's the greatest TV show on earth.
Yeah.
Tony's inability to relate to people, but loving animals and seeing animals is like this purity that we can't have.
Yeah.
And when fucking Chrissy has his intervention.
Oh, and he finds out that Chris accidentally killed the dog.
You sound the fucking dog!
And that's what he's mad about?
I'll fucking strangle you!
Yeah. Yeah. That's what he gets most mad about is when he finds out about little Cosette. Oh,
I mean,
this is just hammering it home because I mean, half the reason that Ralphie died is because he blames him for the horse.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you killed this beautiful innocent creature.
Right. Which some people were like, is he talking about Tracy? I'm like, no. You see, it's a thing.
I mean, I think it's some of his feelings about Tracy.
Yes,
but it is more specifically about.
It's
Pio
very explicitly about the horse. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he can't stand to have the painting anymore, so Paulie takes it.
That's a fat Napoleon. He's a little big for Napoleon. No, like Napoleon. It's so fucking good.
That's such informs Paulie's character. He's just like, I can't let this thing go to waste. It's a beautiful painting.
The oil painting, the wood frame around it, 20, 30 grand.
You can see the value in it, even though it's like an emotional thing for somebody else. But yeah, that it's Tony drives him nuts, and so he has to have it. He has to have it repainted.
Yeah,
like he can't stand that fucking smell. He's got the wine glass, and it's like, God.
Season 4 is interesting because you see a lot of Tony reckoning with himself and ways that he's not. Because yeah, he gets to have his fun. He gets the fuck the Russian chick. He gets to steal Ralphie's girl.
Yeah.
And he gets to have all his fun, but these consequences seem to be really...
They're piling up for him, yeah.
Yeah, he's really starting to hang himself on that rope. So there's that. But the other night, my girlfriend was over, and I was like, I haven't watched a horror movie in a while. And something popped up on Max that I had forgotten about for a couple of years, and I think is an exceptional horror movie. The criminally overlooked 2017 film, It Comes at Night.
Okay. I found that one a little slow.
I love it. I've seen it twice, and I think it fucked with me more the second time. The second time, I was like, fuck. Because I was picking up on things I hadn't seen the first time. I think it's a slow burn, but I think the tension, and I think the setting is really what... It feels like it's in the Pacific Northwest, but it was actually filmed in like upstate New York.
Okay.
But like this abandoned resort.
Yeah.
Like this little like forest resort that they're in, that they're seeking refuge. And so it's about a man and his family. Some sort of disease or infection has taken over the world, and so they've been just living it out in this abandoned resort house thing. It looks like a complex, but they definitely are trying to tell you, it's a house.
Yeah.
With, I guess, like 2 mother-in-law suites.
Yeah.
It's very interesting architecture, and the interior of this house is very specifically shown to you in a disorienting fashion, so it feels very ambiguous and confusing, and I think that's part of the movie's strength. But the focus of the film, who it's kind of mostly told through his viewpoint, is the son Travis.
Okay.
His name's Travis.
Yeah.
It starts out with him and his father murdering his grandfather because his grandfather has become ill with this infection, and it's kind of implied that you got kill the people who are infected because they will turn into something far worse.
Yeah.
And that's left ambiguous. I think actually that's a very interesting thing to do because, boy, the imagination can really run wild on that one.
That's true.
And so this guy tries breaking into their house, and the guy is like, actually, I have like a family. I'm not trying to fuck with y'all. I'm just trying to survive. And so the father goes back with the guy, brings his family over. The whole caveat for them is like, well, this guy knows where we're at. Strength in numbers, and like, yes, there's danger to this, but there's also something to be gained here mutually. And the guy has like goats and chickens and shit, and so they bring the guy back, and the father never really trusts the stranger and his family.
Yeah, it's a paranoid film for sure.
It's a film about paranoia. Boy, it has just a real fucking gut punch of an ending. That lasts probably like 10, 20 minutes. Is really effective. Spoilers here. The first time I saw this movie, and mind you, it was in the theaters, it was a long time ago. For some reason, I thought it was the child.
Oh.
That was sick because don't let him see your eyes and all that.
Sure.
But it's really Travis.
Yeah.
On the second viewing, you realize everything that's fucked up and weird is because he's infected.
Okay.
Like all of his weird dreams.
Yeah.
I was asking D, like, who you think left the door open?
Oh.
And I don't think that's ever solved. For me, what makes that movie effective is these questions that aren't answered, but these are questions that are going to fuck with you. I hadn't seen this movie in a long time, but once I remember it, was like, yeah, the fucking door and the dog.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to the fucking dog?
And I think that was my initial problem with it. But again, I think I'll have to go back because it's been years. I do remember having a lot of questions and being like, well, for a movie that was that slow, they didn't bother to, you know what I mean? Like that was my mindset. Right. But I think ambiguity works, especially in horror. Ambiguity works wonders.
Your imagination is always going to be more terrifying.
Absolutely.
You got anything else for the breath minute?
I do. I have the last two things I have. It's kind of a double feature. See them back to back if you can. It's really interesting. These are movies that kind of came and went. Nobody really talks about them, but you'll see clips of them on TikTok for whatever reason. Because they're aggressively okay movies. And I like aggressively okay movies. Now You See Me, a group of magicians, which includes Jesse Eisenberg, you got Woody Harrelson. On the other side, the lawman, Mark Ruffalo, and a skeptic played by Morgan Freeman. They're all trying to...
I don't believe what I'm seeing.
Exactly.
These boys doing magic.
Yeah, that's pretty much how
sawing that woman in half.
Right. So 4 magicians rob a bank, and the FBI is after them. That's the basic plot of the movie. I know. On paper,
they pull the money out of a top hat.
No, they did this big elaborate Vegas stage show where they have the guy go under the stage, and they've built a replica of the bank vault, and it's a whole. Like I said, to explain the entire plot I'd be here for another 20 minutes. But it's 4 magicians rob a bank, and the FBI's after them, and they keep doing these successive public stunts, and they're doing this whole Robin Hood shtick. It's great. Just for the fact that Mark Ruffalo gets to stretch a little bit, we get to see kind of the snarky comedic side of Morgan Freeman, which I always love to see. He's done it a couple times, but I think here he really nails a specific vibe.
Now, who ate all the pussy?
right. And Michael Caine, I forgot about Michael Caine, so they got Michael Caine in for a little bit. And then Nerve, a young Emma Roberts is the big star here. Movie about a art student who is... her mom's Juliette Lewis, and she gets caught up in this game called Nerve, where it's a series of escalating dares. But it starts off like, oh yeah, flash the football team. But then it becomes like, kiss a stranger. And then it's like, go with the stranger on a motorcycle. And so people are following along on social media. It's a bit of a commentary about the ridiculous things people are willing to do for money and fame. And it's a couple of years old now. So, I mean, it was prescient even then. And came and went. Nobody really saw it.
That sounds too bad. That sounds pretty interesting.
It's on Max as well. So if you're if you're looking for something to watch, I think both Now You See Me's are both on Max as well. You won't remember much about them after you've seen them, but they're a good ride. You know, kind of like we used to have those all the time. We used to have like a Tony Scott movie every couple of years, or it would be Enemy of the State or whatever, where it would just be like, yeah, this kind of says something about current day, but it's also just a hoot.
There's words.
It's just a hoot too. I mean, it's like old Michael Bay, like Bad Boys. You know, like it's just a hoot. But I like, you know, garbage too. So what do I know?
You do this podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so this weekend, doing the old Royal Rumble.
We will be here doing Royal Rumble. That's right, yes.
Royal Rumble's usually a pretty fun pay-per-view regardless of where the product's at. The only bad Royal Rumble I can think of in recent memory was actually the one here in St. Louis a couple of years ago.
No. Did you, the one you went to?
I didn't go to that one, no. I would not have gone. Yeah. No, because like I worked with a guy very briefly at a job, and this kid was telling me how he spent like $800 for like really shitty seats. I'm like, I'm not going.
No, thanks.
I'm good. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to watch it on TV. And then it was an awful pay-per-view. It was, aside from the Sami Zayn, Johnny Knoxville match, there really wasn't much. And even that was kind of bad, but that was at least different. It was like, oh, it's the Jackass guys. They're in St. Louis. And apparently Brock Lesnar like slammed Wee Man through a table at a bar or something. Shit. Steve-O was supposed to be there, but he had COVID. I got COVID, guys.
How could you tell? Yeah, his voice just sounds like that.
Puke on my staph infection. I can't even tell you really what the card is for Saturday night.
The only one I really saw and then got pissed off about was Logan Paul. That's all I remember.
All right, so you have the Women's Royal Rumble, the Men's Royal Rumble.
Right.
So you have the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, which is Roman Reigns, who is defending his belt against Randy Orton, LA Knight, and AJ Styles.
That'll be probably fatal four-way. Okay.
Randy Orton just came back after being injured for like over a year. LA Knight's pretty hot, and AJ Styles is usually pretty good at making other people look good.
Logan Paul is taking on KO, by the way.
Kevin Owens, yeah. So I get the feeling that Kevin Owens is going to be doing a lot of rest holds during that match.
Nia Jax and Bayley going to be in the women's Royal Rumble.
Nia Jax can injure everyone.
Yeah, I hope.
That is the worst. I think that is probably the worst person that's been brought back in the last since the merger since Triple H has taken a lot of control. Yeah, boy, wow, we've really created a monster for you to edit.
That's all right. You know what? I don't need to sleep anyway. So
sleep is for pussies.
This is part of the show.
I'm Morgan Freeman, and I'm saying that you shouldn't be sleeping.
Yeah. So this is about the part of the show where we tell people where to find us online. Bryan, let us know where we can tell you how much CM Punk sucks.
You can CM Punk. CM Punk. The best in the world. Yeah, the fucking toilet. Bad toilet wrestling.
Toilet man.
Smell like old meat.
Hey, more like BM Punk.
You can find me on Instagram at amusicphotographer. On all the other socials, I guess on Facebook if you want to check out the page. I update like once a year. Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads. Threads fucking sucks.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like if California were 4chan.
Oof.
On one social media platform, a music photographer. On the rest, iShockey Debord, GUIDBORD. If you want to check out my photography portfolio, it's assholemusicphotographer.com. We're going to check out some photos with words. It's amusicphotographer.com. If you want to check out the last best and only good media website left in St. Louis, it's theartsstl.com. My Zed's Dead write-up is there. It's not much, but it's there. It exists.
It's honest work.
I don't know about that, but I definitely fucking push that dead body over the goddamn finish line. But yeah, the artsstl.com, a lot of great stuff up there. Some really great photos of Meg Meyer doing her little solo performance off Broadway a couple nights ago. Jason.
Yes.
Where can they tell you that you're homo gay?
Anywhere, anytime, motherfucker. It's at Video Crime. All of these socials, you're going to find me there. Whether it's Blue Sky, Twitter, other places. Let's see here. All TikTok and Instagram, I am Laser Goose CEO. It's laser with an S because there is no Z in there. You can find the show, 48minutesdogsbarking.com, but If you're listening, you're probably already there. You can shoot us an email, Jason at 48minutesofdogsbarking.com, Bryan with a Y at 48minutesofdogsbarking.com. Give us a call.
If you've got the other half of that Chuck Berry video.
Yeah, please. I need
toots.
it. I need it. You give us a call, 314-246-9766, 314 AHOY POO. And as always, support the show, patreon.com/48minutesofdogs. Well, that about does it for the program. An extended version, as we sometimes do when we're feeling the vibe. All right, well, we're going to tell you night-night, goodbye, and eat the knife.
Eat the knife.
See ya.